Hello everybody, this is Al. I'm the partner products over at BobCAD, and today I wanted to take a deeper look into the nesting software with version 24 and kind of go through some of the features. So I have a very basic part here. I have some holes here, and then I also have this inside profile. So one of the first things we'd want to do to prepare this part for nesting is we'd want to create a layer called holes. And then we'll want to create a layer called dados, okay? And all of the geometry that we want to run a drilling cycle on, we'll select, and we'll put them on the layer called holes, okay? And all of the open profiles, like single lines, we're going to put those on a layer called dados. So we'll modify attribute layer dados. Okay. So at this point, we prepared the geometry for the nesting. So we can go ahead and load a nest, and then we'll just window in our geometry here. Parameters, we're going to just say one part. We'll say 24 by 24 by 24. We'll add some margins. Okay. I'm going to ignore my tools and I'm going to ignore my tabs at this point and finish. And then we're going to compute our geometry. Okay, and we can see our holes were drilled and the profile was done, but the data wasn't cut. I might have the layer name wrong. Let me rename this. Let's try that. From here, we're going to reselect our geometry, and then we're going to recompute this. Let me edit this number of parts back to 1. Okay. Now, okay, good. So now what we have is we have our holes are drilled, our profile is cut, our dado is cut, and we have a profile around the outside. Okay, so some of the things that we want to look at here that's been a topic is tabs, okay, and how the tabbing feature works. So we're going to come back in here and we're going to edit our parameters. Now, one of the things that I recommend as well, once you have a nest set up with parameters that you use, you can really use that file as a template and just open it up, copy and paste geometry into the drawing screen, and just reselect your geometry and then recompute. That's a very useful aspect of it. But to kind of get in here and talk about our profile here, we have our outside profile, and we want to leave little bits of material left over so that the part isn't cut free. So the way that we do that is we use the tab function. Now there's some options in the tab function, and the first one we're going to do is we're going to look at apply tabs. We're going to do, this is like an automatic function, and we can just tell it the number of tabs. So we can say we want 3 tabs. Okay. Now the software is going to automatically figure out the spacing between them. So we can either tell it the number of tabs, or we can say the length between tabs, and then you'll see that it's automatically populating those positions. Now, you know, that's a nice feature in the software, but sometimes you may also want to choose exactly where your tabs are located, and that's when you choose use manual tabs, and you can edit your tabs, and you can come in here and you have the ability to remove all the tabs that we have on the screen, and then you can do pick tab point in CAD window. Now, when we go back to the CAD window, the software is looking for a point. If you look at this, it will say left click first snap point, shift left click on arcs, lines, or splines. So we could have drawn points on the screen and pick those, or the other thing we can do is we can shift click on the geometry, and we can grab our snap points and then in this case I'm going to pick 3 different points that I want my tabs to be on, and then I'll click OK. Alright, so a couple of different methods for how to set up the tabs and their location and the number of tabs. The other option that you have here is you have your tab geometry. This is the width of the tab, the angle in which it's going to be at, and the height of the tab. So the width of the tab we could say is 1/4 inch, the angle of the tab we could say is 45, and the height of the tab we could say is 125. Okay. Frame thickness, add tool diameter, we'll leave that default. We'll go ahead and click OK. We'll come back and recompute our toolpath, and then now on the screen here you can see that we have these tabs that are now created, which would leave material, and you could always go back in here and you can edit, how high you might want these to be. You could also edit the width in which you want them to be as well. So you can see that it's actually fairly easy to come in here and to set up what our different options are for this part. Now, when you get into your operations, you'll see that below each operation you have profile, drill, and dado. You can come in here and you can edit, your tool information and your speeds and feeds and compensation settings, and how deep it's going to go, or if it's going to take multiple depths. So you have all your different programming options here to go ahead and to set up your features, and then you can recompute them. And now you can see we have multiple passes to get down to the bottom, and we have our lead-in as well. Now you may have a question about how do you change where the lead-in location is. Well, we use contours in order to do that. So as an example, if I wanted my lead-in location to be on the middle of this line here, what I can do is I can break that geometry into 2 pieces, and then I can do a where is it? Other contour. Let's go counterclockwise, start point automatic, shift click. So now I've set on that part geometry, I used a contour to set its starting position. So when I go back in here and reselect my geometry, and then I recompute my geometry, now you can see that we have our, here, let me edit the number of parts again, back to 1. Okay. You can see that now I have my lead in and lead out. I think there's a conflict with where my tab location is, and I seem to have lost my tabs, so we're going to go ahead and edit this. Our tabs were turned off, so when we re-edited it, when we made an additional edit, our tab locations and variables were turned off. So we're going to go ahead and just say 3 tabs here with angle, height, and click OK, and then we'll go ahead and recompute. And now you can see we have our tabs added back in. Now, ideally, I probably wouldn't want them in the corner, but that's okay for this example. So again, if we wanted to make change to our profile, so we went to our profile and we went to edit, and we can change our tool information and all of our parameters just like we normally would with any given toolpath strategy. If we go to our drill, we can come in and edit our drill. Now you may notice that it has a center drill and a drill, and you probably don't have a tool changer on your machine, so you probably don't want that. So one of the things that you'd have to do is go into your tool pattern, and you would go to your hole, and you can delete your center drill from your hole feature. And then that will allow you to just use a single tool to drill those holes. Now, because I already have this nest set up, I would have to let me see if I can just recompute it. Let's see if that Yeah, now that's switched that, so it's just the single tool. Okay, and then if we look at our dado parameters as well, we can come in here, set this to our 1/4 inch. In this example, we're going to do contour ramping. We'll set how deep this slot's going to be and set our depth per pass. System compensation we're going to turn off because we just want it cutting center line. Leads, this is fine. Everything's fine there. Finish, recompute, and now we have it coming through and cutting that as well. So what I want to do from here is I want to run this through simulation. So we'll go to verify. Oh, I'm in the wrong corner. Alright, so let's restart that. You can see it drills, it does the slot, and then it cuts the outside profile. So we did a decent job there. There you can see the little tab off to the back of the part and in the corners. Once you're really happy with the number or the nesting setup, we should be able to edit this and set the number of parts that we want. We'll click OK. We'll compute it. And then now we can see that we have an array of these parts. You also do have some options in here as well as far as how the array is handled. You have the ability to cut by part or to process the cutting by part or to process it by sheet. So hopefully this video is a little more detailed into some of the basic setups for the nesting software.